27 men went looking for 14. None of them came back. It was the 5th of December, 1945. 5 U.S. Navy aircraft took off from Florida on a routine training mission. 14 crew members, experienced pilots, clear weather. Nothing unusual about it at all. 2 hours later, their compasses stopped working. All of them. Primary compass gone. Backup compass gone too. The pilots had no idea where they were. Panicked radio transmissions started coming in. Weather got worse. Darkness fell. At 7:04 p.m., the last radio transmission came through. Then silence. All 5 planes were gone. 14 men vanished without a trace. A rescue aircraft immediately took off with 13 people on board to find them. That plane disappeared too. 27 men, gone. No bodies, no wreckage, no explanation, nothing. And the area where all of this happened, that is what we today call the Bermuda Triangle. Over the past 500 years, more than 3,000 ships and 100 aircraft have vanished in this same stretch of ocean. Some left absolutely nothing behind. Today, I am going to tell you everything. The incidents, the theories, and most importantly, the truth that most people do not want to hear. The Bermuda Triangle is a stretch of ocean in the North Atlantic. It forms a rough triangle between 3 points: Florida in the United States, the island of Bermuda to the north, and Puerto Rico to the south. The total area spans more than 500,000 square miles of open ocean. To put that in perspective, that is larger than the entire country of Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh combined. And the stories about this place are older than 500 years. In 1492, when Christopher Columbus was sailing through this area on his way to find the New World, he reported that his compass had stopped working completely. And one night, standing on the deck of his ship, he looked up at the sky and saw something strange. A ball of fire falling from the sky straight into the ocean. That moment is considered the very beginning of the Bermuda Triangle mystery. Over the next few centuries, more incidents kept piling up. Ships disappearing, aircraft vanishing, crews gone with zero explanation, and the area kept collecting names, each one darker than the last. The Graveyard of the Atlantic, the Sea of Doom, Sargasso Graveyard. These names were used through the 18th and 19th centuries by sailors who feared passing through this part of the ocean. But the actual term Bermuda Triangle was first used in 1964. In a magazine called Argosy, a writer named Vincent H. Gaddis wrote an article titled "The Deadly Bermuda Triangle." He compiled decades worth of disappearances and tried to link them all together. He claimed that something peculiar existed in this specific area of the ocean that was causing all of it. He gave no explanation for why it was happening. No science, no evidence, just a compelling story. But that article was enough. Books were written, films were made, songs were recorded, computer games were built around it. The Bermuda Triangle became the most famous, unsolved mystery on the entire planet, and it has stayed that way for decades. Now let us talk about one of the most baffling disappearances ever connected to this area. It was 4th March 1918. The USS Cyclops was one of the biggest and fastest ships the US Navy had at that time, a critical asset for the American military, especially after America entered World War I. It was primarily used to transport troops, coal, and supplies across long distances. That day, 306 people were on board. Along with the passengers and crew, the ship was also carrying 11,000 tons of manganese ore. It set sail from the West Indies, heading towards Brazil. The weather was clear, the sea was calm, everything looked completely normal. The ship sent one routine message before departing. That was the last communication anyone ever received from it. No distress call, no SOS, no wreckage found floating, no bodies recovered. One of the most powerful and heavily built ships in the entire American Navy had simply ceased to exist. The US Navy investigated thoroughly. They found nothing. To this day, the disappearance of the USS Cyclops remains one of the greatest unsolved naval mysteries in history. If the USS Cyclops was not strange enough, there is the story of the Ellen Austin from 1881. A 210-feet-long merchant ship traveling from London to New York. A perfectly routine journey at the time. Dozens of ships made this crossing regularly. But on its way, the Ellen Austin came across something completely unexpected near the Bermuda Triangle area. An unidentified ship, just sitting there in the middle of the ocean. From the outside, the ship looked completely normal, fully intact, sails up, everything exactly where it should be. But when the captain looked closer, there was not a single person on board. No crew, no passengers, absolute silence. A ghost ship floating in open water. The captain of Ellen Austin was cautious. He brought his ship alongside and waited for 2 full days, looking for any sign of life, any movement, any response. Nothing. After 2 days, he finally sent some of his own crew members onto the unknown ship to investigate and steer it. The plan was simple. Both ships would sail together towards their destination. And for the first 2 days, that is exactly what happened. Both ships moved forward normally, side by side. Then a storm hit. The ships got separated in the rough weather. When the storm finally passed, the captain scanned the horizon and spotted the unknown ship again at a distance. He felt relieved and sailed towards it. But when he got close, something was terribly wrong. His crew members who had boarded that ship were gone. Completely and utterly gone. The ship was still perfectly intact, not damaged, nothing broken. But every single person he had sent onto it had vanished without any explanation. It is said the captain tried once more, sent another group of crew members onto the mysterious ship. Days passed normally. Then another storm came. And once again, the same thing happened. The ship survived. The people on it did not. When Ellen Austin finally returned home, the owner of the ship was so shaken after hearing this story that he sold the ship immediately to a German company. That company renamed it Meta. Yes, exactly like Mark Zuckerberg renamed Facebook to Meta. Decades later, this cursed ship carried that same name long before. Now here is where things get interesting. This story is almost certainly not true. The incident is so old and so poorly documented that it simply cannot be verified by any historical records. And stories like this, passed down through generations, growing more dramatic with each retelling but never backed by real evidence, are what we call urban legends. And this is precisely where the real conversation about the Bermuda Triangle begins. So, what actually explains the disappearances? Let us go through them quickly. The wild ones first. Aliens, sea monsters, hidden, underwater cities. These theories exist, and that is all that needs to be said about them. The scientific ones are far more interesting. First, magnetic confusion. Earth has 2 north poles, the geographic North Pole and the magnetic North Pole. In most parts of the world, these are slightly different, and navigators account for that. But on certain lines called agonic lines, both poles appear at exactly the same point, which can silently mislead any compass. For the last 200 to 300 years, one of these lines has been passing directly through the Bermuda Triangle. This likely explains the compass failures experienced by Columbus in 1492 and the Flight 19 pilots in 1945. Second, shallow waters. The Bermuda Triangle area is deceptively shallow compared to the deep ocean surrounding it. Ships in earlier centuries would sail straight into hidden underwater ridges, called shoals, with absolutely no warning and sink instantly. Third, hurricanes. Florida, Cuba, and the surrounding islands sit right inside this triangle. This region has one of the highest hurricane rates in the entire world. Hurricanes can sink large vessels within hours and scatter debris across hundreds of miles, making recovery nearly impossible. Fourth, methane hydrates. Beneath certain parts of the ocean floor, large fields of methane gas are trapped. If released suddenly, they drop the density of the water so dramatically that a ship loses buoyancy and sinks straight down within seconds. No distress call, no debris. The science is real, but no specific Bermuda Triangle incident has been directly linked to this yet. Fifth, and most importantly, the Baader-Meinhof effect. Also called the frequency illusion. When we become aware of something, we start noticing it everywhere, even though it was always there. After the Bermuda Triangle became famous in the 1960s, every incident in that area got massive attention, while identical incidents in every other ocean were completely ignored. Malaysian Airlines MH370 disappeared in the Indian Ocean. Nobody called that area cursed. Journalist Larry Kusha investigated all of this and wrote a book called The Bermuda Triangle Mystery Solved. His conclusion was that many stories attached to this legend were exaggerated, distorted, or completely made up over time. The Ellen Austin story is widely believed to be one such fabrication. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration officially confirmed there is no evidence that disappearances happen more frequently here than anywhere else in the world. The U.S. Coast Guard does not even recognize it as a hazardous zone. Their explanation is simple. The area sees extremely heavy traffic. More traffic means more incidents. Add hurricanes, shallow waters, and strong currents, and you have a rational explanation for everything. And in 2013, when WWF studied the 10 most dangerous bodies of water for shipping in the world, the Bermuda Triangle did not even make the list. So what was that ball of fire? Christopher Columbus saw falling into the ocean back in 1492. Scientists have a simple answer. It was a meteor, a completely natural event that happens regularly across the world and would have been deeply alarming to a sailor in the 15th century who had no framework to understand what he was seeing. The Bermuda Triangle is one of the most heavily trafficked, hurricane-prone, shallow-watered, and geographically hazardous stretches of ocean in the world. And for over 5 centuries, a combination of genuine accidents, exaggerated stories, deliberate fabrications, and the very human tendency of the Baader-Meinhof effect turned it into the greatest mystery the world had ever seen. The ocean did not create this mystery. We did. If you found this video interesting and learned something new today, give it a like and subscribe to this channel. I will see you in the next one.